Finally, you called. Thank you so much. I've been wanting to talk to you for some time and just share this with you. So just sit back, let it marinate, eat some popcorn. If my spouse was my cell phone, I wouldn't just be happy the first day I took them home. No, that wouldn't be enough. I'd spend countless hours just falling in love. If my spouse was my cell phone, I'd take time to learn all their functions. I'd read their manual, research online, and know their buttons. See, if my spouse was my cell phone, I wouldn't just sleep next to them, and I'd be inches away and possibly always have their hand in my hand. If my spouse was my cell phone, they would be the first thing that I see and the last before bed. They would be what I think about when I work in my head. They would get my attention at every sound. They would even have my attention when others are around. See, if my spouse was my cell phone, I'd take time to look at those important notifications. Then I'd take the time to respond to them without hesitation. If my spouse was my cell phone, I would spend countless hours gazing into their face and eyes. It would even be dangerous at times because I would even gaze when I drive. Not just that, because I would gaze at them when I eat, when I work, when I rise, when I cry, when in pain, when it rain, when broken down, when I need answers, when I frown. Maybe my eyes would be on them no matter where or who else is around. See, if my spouse was my cell phone, I'm convinced I wouldn't have an excuse not to have quality time. I wouldn't have an excuse not to include them in everyday life. Oh no! Is it starting to get through? Maybe this call is for you. If my spouse was a cell phone, I wouldn't have an excuse not to be intimate at the end of the day, because I would probably touch them more times than I could say. I would have been face to face. They would feel my breath. They would feel my touch. They would have my embrace, and they would probably feel something like love. If my spouse was my cell phone, I would be so careful not to break them, to hold them dear and understand their worth, to make sure I keep them above the ground and not the dirt. I wouldn't put them in dangerous conditions. I would invest to make sure they get the proper protection. If my spouse was my cell phone, is it sad to compare a human to an electric device? Or is this electric device worthy to compare when it takes so much time in our lives? Are we dealing with another lover? I think we should think twice, because maybe it is, but it's just disguised. Who do you love more? You say that's easy to say, my friend, but our definition of love puts up a good plea to think again. If this was before a judge and it was a person, would they consider the signs of adultery, or at least something? Let us not be fooled with such unawareness that this electric device can help destroy even the best marriage. Can we blame the cell phone? No. But just like someone who cheats, it starts when you keep spending too much time with that person alone. Then you slowly give affection and attention, and pretty soon your spouse becomes just an addition. So I beg you to stop and ask, who do you show your love to? And be honest in your heart. Take this opportunity even to repent and have a fresh start. Don't be condemned, but be aware, and I promise you won't have to fear. your marriage will grow and it will flourish. Just give love to where it's due and not your cell phone, a simple electronic. My spouse was my cell phone. How close would we be? Thanks for calling. Have a nice day.